Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnock Reviews, where today we're checking out a 2008 Meridian 411 sedan. This is one of the last examples to roll off the production line, as production for this model ended in 2009. And at the time of shooting this video, she was up for sale for $319,000 through Zeigler Yacht Sales and lying in Jacksonville, Florida. It's hard to believe this boat's 15 years old. She looks more like 15 months in my opinion. She's had a lot of upgrades over the years, including this large submersible swim platform, and this has got a 2020 aluminum hull rigid inflatable boat with a Suzuki 15 horsepower outboard. As we step on board, I love the fact that there's as many handholds in place whenever you're walking around. It always feels safe and secure. She measures in at 46 foot in length, she's got a beam of just over 14 feet, and it gives great stability, with plenty of room for the accommodation on board too. She's got an air draft somewhere in the region of 15 foot, so if you're interested in doing the great loop, this is one to consider. On the bow we have space for a sun pad. You see it's even got drinks holders in front of those windows. We've got the fender baskets here, and that way you can keep the fenders out of the way whenever the boat's not tied up in the marina. And she's got an electric windlass that can be operated both at the deck and also at the helm, and she's got two large anchor lockers. The one on the starboard side has got a deck wash in it, and that way you can rinse off the anchor chain as it's coming up, keep all that salt water away. And then in the one on the port side, not only do you have access to the chain, but there's plenty of room in here that you could put the bow lines in to keep them close at hand. Not sure if you can pick it up on the camera, but this one's got a non-slip deck and it works really well. The whole time I was walking around, not once did I feel my feet sliding on it. And as I pan the camera around, we'll take a closer look when we get up there, but you can see that flybridge enclosure. That was installed in March earlier this year, and that alone has got a price tag of around $15,000. And as I make my way towards the aft cockpit, I love the shine that's on the hull. This one's been professionally detailed, ready for sale. And you just get this sense that the boat's been well looked after and maintained since new. She's got roughly 1,300 hours on the clock, which averages out at less than 100 hours per year's use. And then on the aft cockpit, I love the decking that's on this one. It's got that teak effect, but it's actually the rubber matting, and it's so much softer and less maintenance. It's a great combination to have. The aft cockpit self-draining, which is great not only from a weather perspective, but this one's also designed for fishing too. So if you are going to be bringing anything up over onto the aft cockpit, you don't need to worry about hosing it off and rinsing it off. That'll all drain away for you. And if I walk out onto that bathing platform, I love the fact that there's a handhold in place right along the transom, so again you always feel like you've got something to hold on to. You got your shore power connections in the port quarter, and this does have the cable master system in place. And then as I pan the camera around, you'll see that it's actually got rod holders built into the transom as well. I also like the fact that on the bathing platform we do have a hot and cold water shower out here. That way you can rinse off if you've been in swimming before making your way on board. And I mentioned this one has also been designed for fishing. If we open up this storage that we've got here in the aft cockpit, this is actually self-draining, so although they've been using it for storage, you could also use this as a fish box. And then if I pop open the main hatches that we have on the deck, you'll see this has got a very large lazarette. There's plenty of room down here for storage. You could put canopy covers, you could put fenders, you could put anything like that. But you also have great access to the batteries, as well as all the steering gear. And those batteries, those were replaced in March of this year. And at that time there was a bunch of maintenance projects went on, including upgrades to both the bow and stern thrusters. But as we make our way up to the flybridge, you're going to see that the big advantage is that new enclosure that was installed. You can open up these windows in sections, but you can also remove them and just have a bimini top, and obviously you can collapse it and have it completely open if you preferred. I love how clear the screens are. Normally in these canopy covers you can't really make out what's outside, but it feels like the canopy's not there at all. And there's a ton of room up here for your friends and family to join you. You'll probably get about 8 adults up here. We also have lots of storage. We've got a storage box on the very back of the flybridge, but there's also storage underneath all the seats that you see up here. There's plenty of drinks holders throughout the flybridge, which obviously is great for cups, but it's also going to probably be used for cell phones and handheld devices. I got a little wet bar, and then to port you've got this large sun pad. And one of the benefits of this canopy enclosure is the flybridge is actually air conditioned. There's multiple vents up here, including at the helm itself. So at the helm you've got the controls for the bow and stern thrusters, as well as those digital throttles, so even somebody like me can bring this one in with confidence. You got full engine instrumentation, including rudder angle indicator. You got your autopilot, your multifunction display. Then there's a second larger multifunction display, as well as your VHF radio. And I love how the flybridge, it feels like it's centrally located for the helm. You've got just as much access to the bow as you do the stern. It gives you great confidence for doing close quarter manoeuvring. Then if we make our way back downstairs and pop into the accommodation down below, there's no lower helm, so you've got far more space down here for accommodation. And as soon as you walk through those sliding patio doors, I love the quality feel that you have from all the finishings. I also love the headroom, the amount of natural light, as well as the amount of artificial light you've got throughout. To begin with, we've got the saloon that's got seating to both port and starboard. And the starboard quarter is where you're going to find the television and entertainment, but it's also where you're going to find the control panel. And I love the fact it's right as you come in the door. That way it's easy to turn things on and off without having to stumble through in the dark. We've also got a drinks fridge down here. Keep those refreshments close at hand, as well as for out in the aft cockpit. And normally I try and not focus on what looks like clutter and try and clean it up and things like that, but I wanted to show you just how much documentation is stored in here. If you were to buy this boat, you're also buying the boat's history. Everything's clearly laid out, what's installed, what's been serviced, what's been upgraded, and how it all operates. And moving forward is where you're going to find the galley and the dining area. As I say, this doesn't have a lower helm, so you get far more space here than you normally have in a boat of this size. This is one of the other reasons why it'd be an ideal candidate for something like the Great Loop, where you're doing extended living aboard cruising. You want as much home comfort as you can get. So there's plenty of worktop space. We do have both a fridge and freezer. You got your convection microwave oven. And then throughout the entire yacht, all the drawers and cabinets have all got that lock and push button mechanism, which I think is great. That way you don't need to worry about doors and drawers opening while the boat's underway, or if you ever hit heavy weather. And I was also impressed that this one's got storage up overhead. It's just a great use of space. But on any boat, space is always a premium, so the more storage you can get, the better. Even like this little triangle area, they've used that just for probably dry goods, but it's just another way of utilising whatever space is available. Next to it's a 2-burner electric stovetop. And I like how this has got a cover to it, that way you don't need to worry about anybody turning it on by accident. Then if I move this out the way, you'll see we've got more storage under here for dry goods. And it's got some sort of rubber non-slip mat in here, so you don't need to worry about anything sliding around while the boat's underway. And then finally, we've got a double stainless steel sink, and that faucet pulls out as well, so it's kind of like a shower head type thing. And then finally, we've got 2 more storage compartments in front of the sinks. This kind of looks like what it would be in a dash if there was a lower helm, but in here you've got more storage options available. And to starboard is where you're going to find a dining area. I love how comfortable the seats are here, and that table that drops down and this can become a double berth if you require. And that black case is again full of all sorts of documentation, instructions, service records, things like that go with the boat. It's an exceptionally well maintained example. And as we move forward, I'll take you into the lower accommodation. I like that it's got the handhold. It's only a couple of steps down, but again, if the boat was underway, it's something to hold on to. You got a guest cabin to starboard. Now I would assume this is going to have twin single berths, but it's actually like a full-size cabin. It's got a great island berth that's accessible from either side. And the air conditioning unit for this cabin, it was replaced in 2016. And then again, for those looking at spending an extended period of time on board, there's actually a combination washer dryer installed in this stateroom. That way it keeps all your clothes, your towels, your linens, keep it all fresh. We do have a number of storage drawers and lockers in here. We've also got the TV and entertainment. And then you've got a hanging locker that's all cedar lined, and it's also got a light inside as well. And next up is the guest head compartment. Now this can actually be accessed from the guest stateroom as well as from this corridor. But I was impressed with the fit and finish in here. It's got a high quality feel to it. That's probably a good time to point out this one's got 150 gallons of fresh water. She's got a 55-gallon holding tank. She's got 400 gallons of diesel on board. There's plenty of space in here for your toiletries and personal belongings. I like the fact it's got the opening hatch for ventilation. And then for a shower, the faucet actually just extends out and there's a bracket mounted up here for putting it as a shower head. Then if I move on to the owner's stateroom on the bow, my first impression was there's great headroom in here. Normally once you start making your way to the bow, it starts getting less and less available, but not this case. We do have a number of opening portholes and hatches for light and ventilation. And then there's obviously plenty of artificial light in here as well. We've got the TV mounted up on the port side. More storage available underneath. There's hanging locker space on the opposite side, and again this one's cedar lined and with a light inside. And even here it's got that push button mechanism to keep the door safe and secure while the boat's underway. And there's more storage underneath the mattress, but there's also drawers at the foot of the bed. And then this stateroom benefits from a full walk-in ensuite toilet and shower setup. And the shower's even got like a little seat moulded into the side of it. And I like how the toilet and the shower's separate. There's plenty of room in here where you can enjoy that shower. And plenty of storage for toiletries and personal belongings. And if we make our way out to the aft cockpit, you'd be surprised to find that the engine is actually accessed from behind the steps that lead up to the flybridge. And down here you're going to find a pair of Cummins. These are QSB 5.9 litre diesel engines. They're approximately 425 horsepower each. They're just under 1300 hours on the clock. You'll be cruising at around 20 knots, maximum speed around 26, 27, something like that. But recent upgrades include new AC raw water pump, complete new fresh bottom paint, new zincs, the bow and stern thrusters have been updated. It's got a dripless shaft seal system installed in both the port and starboard shafts, and that was only done a couple of months ago. It's got a new generator raw water pump, new house batteries, and even the engines alone, these were the highest spec engines you could get when this model was brand new, and these engines were an $18,000 upgrade. I'd like to thank Mark for the opportunity to come on board and share this one with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. If you can leave a comment down below. If you haven't done so already, if you can hit that like and subscribe button, it really does make a difference. And as always, I look forward to catching you on your next one. Thanks everyone.